What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Social MediaPreneurs, Entrepreneurs, Season of Social Media Opportunity. Today, we got an inspirational story for you guys. Stephen Campolo, who is the CEO of FLXBodyFitness, is going to be dropping some value today on the podcast interview. And I can tell you right now, his story, like I said, is inspirational. How he went from being just out of shape, overweight, young kid in high school who really didn't have much self-confidence to being the CEO of FLXBodyFitness, being one of the most sought-after online fitness trainers out there on social media. The man's going to drop some value today, so I hope you're ready. Get your notepad and pen ready, and here comes the interview. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Social MediaPreneurs. Today we got Stephen Campolo on. He is killing the game right now. He's helping people, men and women of all types, really shed pounds and gain muscle. Thank you for joining us today, Stephen. How you doing, brother?
Yeah, man. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really happy to be here. I was looking forward to it all week. So yeah,
Awesome. So CEO of Flex Body Fitness, and right now we're gonna go ahead and get into all that. But first, let's talk a little bit about your background. What did you do before you actually got into like the fitness training and social media? What were you doing before all that?
So to take you way back, I guess I could say I was really good at eating. That was that was my first passion. So kind of growing up in a traditional Italian household in New York, food was kind of the foundation for everything, right? You get together with family, you eat. It was just, and I'm not blaming that family tradition for my weight. Obviously, we're all responsible for our own actions, but
Right.
I just always love food, and even today, fast forward, all these years, I still love food. But yeah, so I was a really overweight kid, and that kind of stuck with me, really through high school. And it wasn't until I was probably around 14, 15 that I decided, okay, you know what? If I want to have a girlfriend or get a girlfriend, then I'm gonna have to do something about this weight. So I remember it was like New Year, I think 2002, and I decided, you know what? I'm gonna lose this weight, man. So I started running every night. I started eating chicken and broccoli.
No.
I really didn't know what I was doing, but I figured if I eat less and do more, then it was a recipe for weight loss. And I lost a lot of weight pretty quickly. So then what happened was I was kind of stuck with this like loose skin and just like skinny fat body. So I'm like, okay, well now I got to do something about this, because I went from a really fat guy to just now I'm just look kind of not still not attractive. So
Right.
went to the gym, started working out, and just kind of got bit by the bug, like seeing my body change almost. It felt like every week, seeing veins in my arm, seeing things happen. I just became addicted to it, and that kind of
Mm.
led into my journey with fitness. And it's been really a process ever since I was 14 years old,
Wow.
experimenting and just talking and working with different coaches all around the world, nutrition coaches, bodybuilding coaches. I've competed in CrossFit. I mean, you name it. I've been really involved in all areas of the fitness life. So yeah, man,
Awesome.
that's really how it started.
Awesome, man. So you took something that, I mean, you made a decision, right? And isn't it's interesting, right? Like, I don't know for you, but for me, like sometimes, you want to do something and you don't pull the trigger, but then as soon as you like actually decide, like maybe it took you 2 years to finally make the decision, but as soon as you make the decision and really like go all in, it's like happens overnight. It's not hard to go back and forth and back and forth once you make that decision, right?
Yeah, man. When I look back on everything in my life, the things that I've kind of meditated on and thought on for a long time was just wasted time, because I knew what the right decision was from the very beginning. And if it's like festering in your head most of the time, then that's kind of like your inside man, call it your spirit, call it whatever you want, your consciousness. But like, that voice is there for a reason, because that's usually the path you have to go down. And it's not always easy. Oftentimes it's the more difficult choice, but it's that decision that once you make and commit to it, it's like God opens doors, man. And the right people come into your life, opportunities come your way. It's almost like you're setting the stage for the path that you're supposed to go down. I don't know how to describe it, but once you make a decision and just go for it, like things happen, miracles happen. So
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's
But some people like to call it fate, whatever it is, right?
yeah,
It's
yeah.
it's, uh, it's there for you to discover. It's funny because it's like it's almost already there, but you just have to like do the discovering part of it, right?
I like to tell people, you know what? take the first step. Once you take the first step, things will happen. But the problem is most people don't want to move. So like, okay, you know what? If it's meant to be, then it will happen. Or if it's meant to be, then it's like, it doesn't work that way. Like faith,
Right. Yeah.
the most amazing things in life require great faith. I mean, you have to take the first step, not knowing what the step after that is going to hold, right? And that's really like how I've lived my life. Jump out of the boat, and you're going to be forced to swim, but it's oftentimes the right decision, and it's that decision that will change the course of your life and allow you to become the person you're destined to become.
Right, right. So you went on that journey, you took that decision, and I'm sure, like like you said, you got addicted to it, and like it's a good addiction. Like it's like an obsession. Like sometimes people hear the word obsess and they have a negative connotation to it. But if you look at anybody that's great, like Stephen Curry was probably obsessed about shooting the basketball. Robin Williams was obsessed about telling jokes, and these are people that were great at what they do. So you were obsessed about like fitness, and that really took a great turn in your life. When did you start like coaching people on how to do the same thing that you did?
Yeah. So again, it was a process. So, all throughout college, I actually went to Florida Gulf Coast University, got my business degree because I really didn't think you can make money in fitness. I mean, everyone was saying, well, you love fitness, you have a passion for it. Why don't you go be a trainer? Or why don't you, one day open a gym? But I actually worked at Gold's Gym throughout college, and I just saw like there was no money in it. The owner was always, stressed out. I'm like, why would I want to get into this? I love fitness. Working out is great, but there's no financial benefit to it. So I graduated with my business degree. I went to work in corporate America. After 1 year, I just hated it, man. Like sitting in a cubicle, 8 hours a day, staring at the clock. I'm like, how do people live like this for, do this for 40 years of their life? Like, this isn't
Right.
for me. So I had a buddy that was personal training at a really affluent country club where I live in Naples, Florida. And he's like, hey, man, why don't you just come train? You'll meet some really good contacts, because a lot of the people he was training were like, titans of industry, retired Fortune 500 CEOs.
Nice.
So it's like, why don't you come on? You have your business degree, you can network with some of these guys, get to know them, befriend them, and who knows? So I'm like, all right. So I started personal training, and I loved it. And, the hours were great. I was training for like maybe 5-6 hours a day. I was done by noon, 1 o'clock most days. And it was around this time where my mom was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. So she was given about a year to live.
Yeah.
And, it just so happens that my training schedule allowed me to spend more time with her because, again, it was shorter days. So I was able to spend more time with her. So I watched my mom battle that for about a year. And then, sadly, she passed away. But it was in that moment where I'm like, you know what? Life is short, man. Like, we're here for such a short amount of time. She was only 52 years old. So
Right.
I'm 30. I'm like, if I follow that same path, I hope I don't. But, if that happens, I have 22 more years on this earth. It's like, do I really want to spend the rest of my life as a personal trainer, just, trading time for money? So little by little, I just started, really researching and seeing what I could do to have a bigger impact, because the amount of people I was working with at the time, I was having a really big impact on them, but it was such a small pool of people. So I started taking things on social media. So I started a fitness Instagram page, or actually I just started posting fitness content on my personal page,
Mhm.
just sharing my ideas, sharing, what I thought was, good knowledge, because fitness is so saturated on social media, as I'm sure you know, right? I mean,
Yeah.
there's a million people selling training programs and coaching, and who says keto is the best diet, who says Atkins is the best diet, who says intermittent fasting. So there's so much information out there. So I really tried to take things that I had learned and that had worked for myself and my clients, and just started sharing that information every day, just posting on, hey, here's some fat loss tips you could follow right now, right? Like, here's what you should be doing, here's what you shouldn't be doing. And I was just diligent. Like, I was just faithful with doing that every day. And like, before you knew it, man, I had a following. Like, I had people, I had a good amount of people following me. And that's really how, I started gaining traction, and that's how I started.
Mm. So right now you've got around 65,000 followers. When did you start? Now, Campolo, that's your personal page, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. And
Yeah.
do you have another page, or that's
No, that's it. That's it.
okay? Cool. When did you start like posting diligently like that on your Stephen Campolo page?
Probably about a year and a half ago.
Wow, nice. So in
Yeah.
a year and a half, you got 65,000 followers, and looking at your engagement, I mean, you get like thousands of likes, you get thousands of views. So obviously, you don't just have followers; like you got like true fans that like eat your content up like every single day. I see the testimonies that you post on there. So when you started doing like that about a year and a half ago, and you started to see more traction, where did that take your personal training business?
So, I stopped the personal. Well, okay. So let me back up. I don't want to get ahead of myself. So I was kind of doing this and personal training at the same time.
Mhm.
But what happened was, as people started following me and asking me more questions every day, I would wake up and I'd have 20 unread messages from people all over the world, right?
Wow.
Saying, hey, I'm trying to do this. Can you help me here? I have a question about this. So I was literally answering DMs. I don't want to say all day, but for probably a few hours a day, just answering questions. And I'm like, okay, people started asking me if I had a product. Do I have a program that they could buy? And I didn't at the time, right? Here I was, and I was happy just giving advice because I truly loved it. Like, I would wake up in the morning, check my DM, start answering people, and at nighttime when I laid my head down to go to bed, I was on my phone answering DMs. Like, I was truly in love with helping people, and that's how I knew I was on the right path. I'm like, you know what?
Mm,
This doesn't feel like work. Like, I'm enjoying this, right?
yeah.
So people started asking me, well, do you have a program? Do you do any coaching? And at the time I didn't, but I started, developing something and putting something together. And before you know it, I had a product. I had something to to sell people.
Right.
And so I was kind of doing that and training at the same time because again, when I was personal training, my hours were good. I was done most days by like 1 p.m. So I had the rest of the day to work on my online stuff. So it wasn't a big issue to do that. And not too long after that, I'm like, you know what? It's either you're going to be 100% in or you're not. So I decided to kind of just throw myself into online fitness completely, and that's when I quit personal training and I went full time online.
Wow. That's amazing. There's a couple things I want to point out. The first thing is like you loved what you do, and I can guarantee 100% for all the listeners, that's what got his followers attached to him. Like you can tell when someone like likes something, loves something, is passionate about something, or really doesn't want to do it, and you were passionate about it. Like you were like excited when you're doing it. You could see it like in your videos. Like you can tell from how much you're writing in your captions. So like that's really, I believe, what created that following. And then not only that, but you were like diligent and you were doing it every day. You were responding to your people. So like people reached out to you to like for help, and you actually reached out back to them. I mean, that's
Yeah,
huge because not a lot of these, gurus actually do that. They just throw out content, and that interaction between them and like their possible prospect, it's not really there. So man, that's huge. So for you guys listening, like make sure that number one, like you're passionate about what you're talking about, because if you're not, you're gonna run out of stuff to talk to, number one, and then they're gonna be able to smell it. Like you don't really care about what you're pushing. You just want to make the money. So be passionate about what you do, and then respond to your people. That's huge. And for you, like throwing yourself into the online business, like it's cool because you still had your money maker, like your one-on-one personal trainings and stuff like that, and you were doing the online thing at the same time. But then you finally converted it all the way to online. What was like your did you have any kind of fears at that moment? Like what was your mind going through when you're like, you know what, I'm going all in on this right now, and you left the thing that you're kind of used to? Like how was that transitioning?
yeah. So it's funny you asked that because I remember the first day I did it, I was like, holy crap, what did I just do?
Yeah.
But I'm a big believer in like burning your boat, right? So if you want to take the island, you gotta burn your damn boats, man. And
Yeah.
I think the big reason why most people never really like reach their destiny or reach that goal that they're trying to is because they kind of have like one foot in the boat, but they have one foot on the island, and just in case, right? Like God forbid it doesn't work out. But I mean, maybe it's just my personality, my nature. I've never been like that. Like I'm a risk taker, and anything I do, I'm either 100% in or 100% out. And that's what I tell people too. Like, when they want to work with me one-on-one, I'm like, listen, if it's not a hell yeah, it's a hell no. I want to work with people who are either all in or all out. So,
Yeah.
it was scary though, man. And it's a scary thing. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, it was easy. It was an easy transition, because it's stressful. Like when the bills come in and you don't have that steady flow of income anymore, and you have that pressure of it being on you. No one's writing your paycheck now. It's all on you. It's up to you to generate income. So, but I was confident in what I had built. And I hate to say the word followers or following. Like, I like to call people friends. I think too many people get wrapped up in, oh, I'm an influencer, I have this many followers, and they look at it just like a number. It's like,
Hmm.
dude, these are real people who are following you, who are actually taking what you're saying and implementing it into their daily life. It's
Right.
not just a number, it's not just a statistic, it's a person. So, but I was confident that I had built up enough relationships and enough of a base, who was already supporting me, and who was already, getting amazing results and amazing transformations, that I felt like I was doing the world a disservice if I wasn't doing this full time, because I knew the impact I was having in such a short amount of time. So I said, okay, if I could multiply this, if I could replicate it that much faster, then, I mean, who knows, right? Who knows? Who knows where this could go? So
For sure, for sure. So I know that you're in the fitness niche, but I mean, it's probably applicable to every niche or market out there. If somebody wants to make that same transition, or they just want to start out with something online, like in Instagram specifically, what are like some type of tactics or techniques, or like what kind of mindset should they have going into like the online space, like creating income online? Like, what's the first thing that they should really think about? Whether it's they're doing it for fitness, they have a local small business, but they want to transition to that online space. Like, what's the mindset they should have when doing that?
yeah, that's a great question, and it's probably one of the most common questions I get. And I actually spoke on this probably about a month ago at an event. And the truth is, you have to be willing to provide value for free for a good amount of time. I
Right.
mean, when I started, I was providing free value for like 8 months, maybe a
Mhm.
year, right?
Wow.
But I was okay doing that, because again, you're gaining traction, you're building trust, you're building loyalty. I think a lot of times people just want to get a product to the market and they want to monetize it right away, but no one knows who you are, no one knows your story, no one knows if they should trust you. And I think today, with social media and just things moving as fast as they have been online, people are more skeptical today than ever,
Yeah.
especially in fitness, man. And I'm the same way. Like, when people come to my page, or they look at my programs and stuff, I expect people to kind of, take a step back and say, okay, like, what is he trying to sell me now, right? Like, how is this program different from the 100 other programs I just saw?
Right.
So people are more skeptical today than ever, and that's a barrier that you have to overcome. And the way you overcome that is just by providing value, giving people free information. And if you give people value and give people free information that they could start applying to their life to help them right then and there, then they will reciprocate. It might not be that day, it might not be that week, that month, it might not be for a year, but eventually, if you build their trust, they will reciprocate.
Right. Yeah, it's like the law of compensation, right? You put out there, and if you keep putting out, and it's all positive, it's good, and it's of value, then it's gonna come back to you. It's gonna reciprocate in one way or another. Maybe not directly from them, but maybe they mention you to their friend, and their friend checks you out, and then they start to eat
Yeah,
at the content. They're like, oh, I want to buy that product. So yeah, the law of compensation. Just keep putting out that value, and think about that first, right? Like value first, and then like monetize it second. Make sure you have enough
exactly.
value that you can help them, and like you said, like that they can apply right now, right? Like they can take something that you said today, literally go and apply it today, and get results like today. Not obviously shredded, but they're gonna see that that workout or that meal plan or whatever it is that you're putting out there, that they can actually use this, and that's gonna bring them back. And you're building that trust factor with them. They're starting to like you. So that's, people only do business if they know, like, and trust. So I feel
That's
you
true.
100% on that. In
Yeah,
that
and
year, that you're giving the value away for free, how many friends did you grow? We'll call them friends. Like, how quick did your business page grow on Instagram in that 8 months a year time span?
so, yo, geez, yeah, it probably grew by 20,000, 30,000
Oh wow.
followers.
Hmm.
Yeah. I mean, some people would say that's slow growth, but again, like I've done everything organic. I haven't spent $1 on marketing, because I have friends that are in the internet marketing space that's all they do is Facebook ads, Instagram ads, run traffic, grow pages. And I pride myself on saying, I've never spent $1 on marketing. It's been 100% organic. So
Wow.
um but again, it just goes back to providing value. And just to kind of piggyback on what we were just saying, you know, I get DMs every day from people all around the world of their transformations. And a lot of those people haven't even bought my product. They just said, "Hey, I just took the information that you gave me for free,
Wow.
and this was my result." And so I always say to myself, well, if you got that result from my free information,
Right.
imagine what your result would be like for my paid information, right? The good stuff.
Yeah.
So it's just remarkable. Again, people could Google anything they want today, right? If they want to Google fat loss, if they want to Google how to build muscle, I mean, there's thousands of pages on Google on how to do any of this stuff, right? So really all the information out there is free, but people want to find someone that they can relate to, that they trust, that they could resonate with the story.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, if you could do it and make it believable, then they could do it, right? So people have to resonate with someone. They
100%.
they want to see someone who's proven it, who's done it, and who has had multiple people do it, thousands of people around the world do it, because it makes it that much more believable.
Right, right. I mean, it's like a mentor, right? Like they want to look, they're looking for that mentor, and they
Yeah,
find it in you because you're giving all that value. You're teaching them so much stuff. I mean, the guy's getting ripped from your free info. I mean, why wouldn't he want to pay you to get even more ripped or get even more straight or learn how to do this and
yeah,
that the next level? It's gonna come. The coolest thing about it is when they decide to actually take that next step or to go to the next level, who are they gonna do it with you, of course. Like, look what
right,
they
right, right,
did with your free stuff. They want to go next
right,
level, it's going to be through you on what you have. So yeah. Now,
right.
if somebody listening right now or watching this, they want you to be their mentor, they want to get a hold of your programs, your fitness, your ideas on what you do, what's the easiest way for them to do that?
So honestly, message me. I mean,
Message.
I always like to talk to people first, and most of the so I have two different things, right? I have digital programs that people could buy. So I have my fat loss program, and I have a muscle building program, and then I also do one-on-one coaching. So when people message me, I always like to kind of ask them, well, what are you looking to do? What's your goal? Because
Hmm.
some people know what to do, right? I mean, but they need accountability. So
Right.
if they need accountability and they need someone to check in with and hold them to the fire, then I always recommend coaching. But some people who maybe are more disciplined, they don't need a coach. They just got to be told what to do. You have my digital programs that they could just, everything's done for you. You just got to follow it.
Right.
So, but yeah, I mean, most people who are my current coaching clients, I get everyone on the phone before we start working together. So I almost put them through like an interview process, because like I said before, I want to make sure that they're committed, right? I'm not looking for clients. I'm looking for success stories.
Mm.
So if it's not, again, if it's not a hell yeah, it's a hell no, right?
Right. Right.
I'm not in this for the money. I'm in this to truly change people's lives. And that's why, I always get them on the phone and see really where they're at, what they're looking to do, because some people think they want it, but they just kind of want it. They don't
Right.
really have what it takes um, to do what it takes to really get that complete transformation. And when the going gets tough, when week 2, week 3, week 4 comes and the cravings are hitting and you don't want to go to the gym, your mind starts playing tricks on you. Having a coach makes all the difference. So
Yeah.
um yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that, man, 100%. Because I know all about those cravings. But yeah, anytime you're doing anything, you got somebody that's gone through, and it's not the coolest part. I think is that you actually went through it. I know you're talking about like there's so many different programs out there, so much information out there, and sometimes it's coming from someone that didn't even go through it, right? They
Yeah.
read a course or they took a course. They've never been fat in their life, and they just took someone else's information, repurposed it, and they're like, here's a course on how to go from fat to fit when they've never been fat, you know? So
Right.
you were that kid, like you were the kid in high school that was overweight. You were self-conscious about your what you look like with your shirt off, you know, all those kinds of things, and you went ahead and you made the change yourself. So it's like living proof. You're the living proof of your product, right? And that's, I think, the biggest thing is, you know, it from personal experience, not just somebody else, but you're teaching it from personal experience. So and so make sure you guys are following him on Instagram. DM him, like you said, send him a message. Instagram at Stephen Campolo. Stephen, that's Stephen, and Campolo is Campolo. Hit him up on Instagram, and you have a quiz on there too, on your website, right? It's FLXBodyFitness.com/quiz.
Yep.
Right,
Yep.
right. And so that quiz that'll give them, it's specific to like their body type and what they, you know, their goals are, and it kind of helps them out with that as well, right?
Yeah, so like you were just saying, being kind of that overweight fat kid, I always knew that I was different because I had friends that were eating whatever they wanted and they stayed shredded. And I was that guy that like had a cookie and I gained 5 pounds. So I'm like, all right, so something is different here, right? Maybe it's my metabolism. So it turns out people do have different responses to foods, and people do have slower metabolisms than others, right? It comes down to
Right.
genetics, and I'm not one of those guys. I was born with a six pack. I struggled with my weight for a long time before I finally figured out how to work with my body. So yeah, it's a body type quiz. It will tell you what your body type is, and it also gives some tips and tricks that you could utilize right now, to kind of work with your body type, so you could put it into action and start seeing results.
Awesome, awesome. So that's flexbodyfitness.com/quiz, and the flex is FLX, not flex with the E. No E in that. So to wrap things up, man, I mean, you definitely, like, your story is very inspirational. How you transition from, one-on-one coaching, trading your time for money, to like being able to spread your message so much further, help like way more people. Because one-on-one, you can't help a million people. But the way you're
Sure.
doing it now, you can easily reach millions of people. So that whole story is inspirational. To just leave our listeners with a little something. If someone came to you today and literally said, Stephen, like you're my inspiration. I see what you did. I see where you came from. What was like the biggest factor in your success to become that, to being that kid to who you are today? What's the biggest key for you? What would you tell them?
There's so many little steps and trials and things that I've had to go through from being that kid to where I am now. But I think the general commonality is just action. It's just it sounds so cliche because everyone is saying, oh, just take action. But the truth is, man, like one small decision and one small step of action in the right direction can change the course of your life. A lot of people think, massive action changes your life. No, one small decision, one small action in the right direction can totally change the course of your life. You never know who you're going to meet, what opportunity is going to arise just from that one little step of action. So, when in doubt, just take action.
There you go. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. You heard it from the man himself. Take action. Stop thinking about it. Just go out there and do it. Stephen, man, really appreciate all the value you gave us today, brother. Thank you so much for jumping on this interview. You killed it, man.
Oh, thank you so much, man. Yeah, we got to do this again. It went by way too quick. I'd be happy to come back, and we'll have to do another one soon.
Definitely, definitely. So make sure you guys check him out, Stephen Campolo on Instagram. Again, thank you, my man.
Thank you, brother.
So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, Stephen Campolo. Make sure you guys are following him on Instagram at Stephen Campolo, and make sure you guys check out his website, Flex Body Fitness. Take the quiz that he has there to show you how he can help you with your body type and lose weight, shred muscle, all that great stuff. anything in regards to fitness, make sure you check him out. Send him a DM like he says, because he responds to all the DMs and he makes sure that he really makes a connection with his friends and audience on social media and Instagram. So I hope you guys enjoyed the interview today. I personally did. I thought this story was very inspirational, and I hope you did as well. So get ready for the very next interview coming up here, ladies and gentlemen, on Social Mediapreneurs, because we're gonna have another jam-packed value session, so that way you guys can see what it takes to really go to the next level with social media and really learning how you can provide value and help all those around you. So stay tuned, because the next one's coming very, very soon.